Poor Boy's Hotel California leaves audience breathless, fearful face sparkles. The lights dimmed, and the vast auditorium fell silent. The air carried an unspoken tension, the kind that comes before something extraordinary. On stage, a thin boy of barely 15 stood clutching a microphone with trembling hands. His shirt was old, his shoes worn out, and his eyes, deep, dark, and uncertain, told a story of hunger, struggle, and dreams too big for his small world. His name was Miguel. The judges exchanged cautious looks. One of them whispered, "He looks terrified." Another replied softly, "Sometimes fear hides talent." Miguel took a deep breath. His heart pounded like a drum, echoing through his chest. He wasn't supposed to be here, not really. Just 3 weeks ago, he was selling handmade bracelets on the streets of Manila, singing to passing tourists for a few coins. He had auditioned secretly, using a borrowed phone to record his voice under the night sky. He never thought they would actually call him back, but they did, and now, standing under blinding stage lights, he felt the weight of 1,000 eyes. "Whenever you're ready," said the host gently. Miguel nodded and closed his eyes. The first chords of Hotel California began to play. The melody was familiar to everyone, but what followed next was something no one expected. His voice rose softly at first, raw, untrained, yet hauntingly beautiful. It carried the pain of his past and the hope of something more. Every note seemed to pull at the hearts of the audience. As the song grew, so did his confidence. He sang not like a contestant, but like someone whose soul had waited its whole life to be heard. People began to lean forward in their seats. The hall that moments ago buzzed with whispers was now wrapped in silence. Even the judges sat motionless, watching this boy transform before their eyes. But Miguel wasn't just singing a song. He was telling his story. He remembered the nights sleeping under bridges with his younger sister, the days when their stomachs growled louder than the traffic. He remembered his mother, her tired smile, and her soft voice saying, "Someday, my boy, your voice will open doors." Those memories bled into every note, giving the song a power that words alone could never hold. When he reached the chorus, his voice cracked, not from mistake, but from emotion. The audience felt it. Some wiped tears. A woman in the front row clasped her hands together, whispering prayers for a boy she had never met. By the final line, Miguel's voice soared high and clear, echoing through the hall. Then silence. A deep, stunned silence. For a moment, no one moved. And then, thunderous applause. People rose to their feet, shouting, clapping, crying. One of the judges covered her mouth, unable to hold back tears. The host's eyes shimmered with pride. The golden buzzer hit the stage like a burst of sunlight. Golden confetti rained down, sparkling against the boy's tear-streaked face. Miguel dropped to his knees, overwhelmed, covering his face as the audience cheered his name. Later backstage, a reporter asked him, "Who were you singing for?" He smiled shyly. "For my mother," he said softly. "She always said music was our escape. She's gone now, but I hope she heard me tonight." The reporter looked away, hiding her tears. Miguel's story spread across social media within hours. Millions watched his performance online, calling him the voice of hope. But for Miguel, the real victory wasn't fame, it was something deeper. He had finally proven to himself that even a poor boy could rise beyond circumstance. Weeks later, Miguel used part of his prize money to start a small foundation for street children who loved music. He visited schools, taught kids how to play instruments, and told them, "You don't need money to dream. You only need faith and courage." Years passed, but people never forgot that night. The night a poor boy from the streets sang Hotel California and left the world breathless. His voice became a symbol, not of fame, but of perseverance. It reminded everyone that no matter where you come from, greatness lives inside those who never give up. And as Miguel stood once again on a grand stage years later, this time as a guest performer, he looked up at the same golden lights and whispered, "Mama, we made it." The audience rose again, just as they had that first night, their applause echoing the same truth: dreams to come true, even for those the world once forgot. The rise of Miguel, from the streets to the stars' glowing star. Months had passed since that unforgettable night when Miguel's Hotel California performance broke the internet and captured millions of hearts. The video had crossed 100 million views. News channels replayed the clip endlessly. Everyone talked about the poor Filipino boy with the golden voice. But fame, Miguel soon learned, was not as easy as it looked. He was still just a 15-year-old kid trying to survive in a world that moved too fast. Every day, journalists, producers, and agents wanted a piece of his story. Some offered contracts that promised luxury but came with hidden traps. Others treated him like a trend, something to sell before the world moved on. Miguel missed home. He missed the streets of Manila, his sister Alona's laughter, and the simplicity of singing for people who didn't judge him by numbers and fame. But deep down, he knew this was his chance, not just for himself, but for everyone like him. One afternoon, Miguel was sitting alone in a music studio, staring at his reflection in the glass. The producer behind the desk said, "We need something catchy. Maybe pop, maybe dance. Forget those sad songs. People want energy." Miguel lowered his head. "But that's not who I am," he whispered. The producer sighed. "Kid, this is show business. If you want to stay famous, you play the game." Miguel walked out quietly. That night, he sat by the window of his small apartment and looked at the stars. For the first time since his rise to fame, he felt lost. The music that once gave him life now felt distant. Then came a knock. It was Alona, barefoot, smiling, holding an old, scratched guitar. "You forgot this," she said. "Mama's guitar." Miguel took it in his hands, tracing the cracks on its wooden surface. He smiled for the first time in days. "Do you remember when she made us sing outside the church?" Alona laughed. "You sang. I just clapped off beat." They sat together, and Miguel began to play softly. His voice carried through the quiet night, raw and real. He didn't sing for fame, he sang for the memory of his mother, for every hungry night, for every street light that had been his only audience. Unbeknownst to him, a neighbor recorded that moment and uploaded it online. By morning, the video went viral again. But this time, it wasn't flashy, it was pure, heartfelt, and unedited. The world fell in love with Miguel all over again, not because of glamour, but because of truth. Soon, invitations came flooding in, concerts, collaborations, even charity events. But Miguel made a promise to himself: "I'll only sing if it means something." His first concert tour was called Songs of the Streets. He sang in orphanages, hospitals, and shelters before he ever stepped into grand arenas. Every performance began with the same line: "Once, I was one of you. But music found me, and now, I'm here to remind you that your voice matters." Audiences cried, cheered, and sang along. His story inspired thousands of children across the world. But behind all the applause, Miguel still carried one dream: to visit his mother's grave and sing the song that changed his life. On a warm summer evening, he finally returned to his hometown. The streets were still dusty, the walls still painted with faded graffiti, but everything felt different. As he walked to the small cemetery with his guitar on his back, people followed quietly. Old neighbors, children, even strangers, all came to see the boy who had made the town proud. Miguel stood before his mother's grave, knelt, and whispered, "I did it, Mama. I made them listen." Then he began to sing Hotel California one more time. His voice, now stronger and deeper, echoed across the fields. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky gold, just like the confetti that had once fallen around him. When he finished, there were tears in every eye. Even the wind seemed to pause. As he walked away, Miguel looked back one last time. For the first time in his life, he didn't feel like a poor boy anymore. He felt complete, not because of fame, but because he had honored where he came from. His journey had begun with struggle and ended with peace. And that night, as the stars shimmered above, Miguel's voice played on radios, in cars, in hearts, a reminder that dreams born in pain can still shine brighter than any stage light. The boy who once sang for coins had now become a symbol of hope for millions. And the world would never forget the boy whose Hotel California left them breathless, not just once, but forever. Miguel's journey reminds us that talent has no price tag and dreams have no limits. You can be poor, forgotten, or lost, but if you hold on to your passion and stay true to who you are, the world will one day hear your voice. Life may test you, people may doubt you, and success may tempt you to change, but real victory comes when you stay humble, grateful, and kind.